thousands of years ago, the people of I'm all like explaining Mexican history. That's like typical like American, like people in Japan for thousands, like explaining everybody's history.
I am Jacob Cornelius. I am a farmer and a musician, and I own a small private gallery and event space in Albuquerque named The Hall. At The Hall, travel, art, music, food, and medicine is life, and we strive to bring the highest in excellence in those categories. We are embarking on a journey around the world in search of this excellence, and we will then bring it back to The Hall for all the Hall goers to enjoy. This is Trails to Oasis.
What are you doing right now, Miguel?
So this is the burnishing process. So we paint the white clay with the manganese slip, the paste we call it. So that's why it's black. It's actually white clay, but it's just all painted black. Then we get some ground down jabonzote, which is just soap, barred big soap. You grind it down a real fine powder. We smudge it on there, and that gives you good river rock. Just like lubrication, so it don't stick on the paint, and just apply pressure and just make it shiny, burnish it, stone burnished. So people that do sgraffito, like we call it calcao, scratch work, this really makes the paint hard and gives you nice, real crisp lines. And also it looks nice because it's shiny, but it also gives you good line work. So if we were to scratch this without it might flake off around the edges.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. More the bandas, there's difference.
Yeah.
I like the groups. I don't like DJs or that. I like more the DJs.
When I was here 2 years ago, there was a rodeo in Mata Ortiz, and they have a dance afterwards, And so it's almost like you know how to two-step? You know how to two-step? You know how to do that?
No. Yeah, I'm living in Arizona 14 years.
Wow.
I had 2 daughters there.
And they live
and 2 Mexican. Yeah.
In Arizona?
The more big is living here, and the other next is in Arizona. I have other the 13 years and is living here with me, and I had other growing here.
Wow.
So I had 2 Mexican and 2 Americans.
Wow.
We don't talk no more. Used to do.
But I've always liked to draw. So I think I honed my drawing skills like pretty much my whole life. And then 5 years ago when I got here, I just mixed it with the clay, man. So it's like, I don't know. I think it was just like a meant to be thing, like a full circle. Went to the States, like under kind of messed up circumstances. My father was killed. And my mom's a hustler, she got us over there. Unfortunately, me and my brother messed up. We got deported. But that's what I feel like, it's a full circle. Because I took my whole life to learn how to draw. Then it took me getting back here to put that into the clay. We left in '92, so we've been in the States for like 18 years. And in my mind, I was like, what am I gonna do out here? I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know how to make pottery. I don't own cattle. I'm not gonna work in the fields for $5 a day. I'm just not. So my whole thing was like, I'm gonna go across illegally to the States and probably ended up doing what I was doing before I got deported, just like the wrong side of the law stuff. And I just kind of started tinkering around with this because I was getting like a vehicle together and money together just to dip. And my auntie had a group of tourists on a big tour bus. And I was really surprised because I sold all my pieces. And it was like $300. And I was like, wow, this is like, I could support myself out here like righteously. I don't have to watch my back. It's so peaceful. And honestly, it changed the whole course of my life. Who knows where I would be if I didn't get this? Probably in federal prison or 6 feet under, honestly.
That's where Mata Ortiz is, on the other side of that mountain. And on that mountain, I know they get a lot of the clay up there for the oyas, the pottery.
So this is my home right here. This is my living room. Me and Tessie, my wife, this is where we work. And I've actually had people tell me that. It's like, where's your studio located? Or it's like, nah, it's like, it's not really like, I don't know, in the States, it's more like a hobby, especially pottery. It's like, oh, that's a cool hobby. It's like, nah, this is what we live off of. So some of the more established people do have galleries and work spaces just for that. But in general, we work just out of our homes, man. Just some people work in the bedrooms. This is our living room. Some people work in their kitchens. But it's just like, we chose here because we can generally just be on top of the little girl, or if we're cooking something, sometimes we'll throw on like a program. I'm usually rocking out to podcasts and stuff. So we're each in our little world. Just grinding, man, just working, trying to survive. But there's also some whole families that just make clay. There's some people who just sand your pieces. There's a paint specialist. But at the same time, we're not organized. And then even like, I got a lady that just works at the local store here, and she just lifts pieces. So she works at the store, and while she's not attending customers, she'll turn around and just start lifting pieces that people will buy at a cheaper price.
That's where they go hide out in the stronghold. Huh?
This is like, what is the name of this? Tortillas?
Yes, please.
This is huevos rancheros, no red and green chili. This is jalapeno chili. Bacon, frijoles, papas. This is a lot different than we get it in New Mexico, and everybody says this is the famous huevo rancheros to get when you're here in Viejo, Casas Grandes. So let's dig in.
I would say that like the narrative is like, we don't push the narrative, so the government pushes the narrative, the Mexican government and the foundations they have to sell handcrafted arts. But they push the narrative that we're descended from Paquimé, which are cousins of the Pueblo, the Hopi, Hopoma. We really don't know. And it kind of messes us up because people will get into it and think like, oh, this is pre-Hispanic traditional pottery, and it's not. We're completely mestizo contemporary pottery, like mestizo contemporary pottery. And then some people will buy a piece maybe thinking it's like a traditional Pueblo pot. And then when they find out the true narrative, they feel like they've been kind of like bamboozled. But I just want to tell the people that's not our narrative. Like, you ask anyone here, it's like, of course we're not traditional Pueblo potters or even native potters. The Spanish came through here in 1540 on their way to New Mexico. Like, my name's a perfect example of that. I'm Hernandez on 3 sides, but none of them are related to each other. And Hernandez literally means sons of Hernan. So we've lost our culture, it's been stolen, our language has been lost, our culture's been lost. And this was kind of rediscovered out of necessity, and it really wasn't a cultural thing. We don't have the pride like the Pueblos do in being an artist. We've lost so many artists to like the McDonald's and Burger King in the United States, honestly. And like, you would never see a Pueblo carver working in a Burger King instead of making his art, because they value it so much. Even if they're just dancers or beadwork or whatever, man, it's really valuable. And I think that's what we need to do here, is like not really base ourselves with them, but at the same time maybe have some pride in this.
The people on the good side of the tracks always went to the bad side for the
To
entertainment.
go have fun, exactly. You know, and so that's why it's like, well, let's take that fun and